Round one of the NFL draft is in the books, meaning we have plenty of new landing spots for our first round wide receivers and 2 first round running backs. But there's one wide receiver in particular who got the perfect landing spot to fit his skill set to absolutely dominate fantasy leagues in 2025. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Best Baller Fantasy Football. In every underdog fantasy draft, there are 12 teams partaking, and 2 of those 12 teams advance to the second round to make some money, which means that just by picking at completely random, you would have a 16% chance of your team advancing to the second round. But just last year, my teams advanced 26.9% of the time, meaning using my strategies, I was able to make my drafts 1.68 times more successful than the average player. And if you want to learn more about my strategies, please hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the strategies and videos that we are talking about on this channel. But breaking down the best landing spot for a wide receiver as we got just last night, it's pretty easy. It is Tetairoa McMillan of the Carolina Panthers. The number one reason why he is the best wide receiver, this is the best landing spot, is there is no competition at the wide receiver position for targets in the Carolina Panthers. If we are going to go ahead and take a look here at their wide receiver depth chart, they have Tetairoa McMillan, who's already been named the number one wide receiver per ESPN. Putting this into context, right now, Emeka Egbuka and Matthew Golden are both the wide receiver 3s on their own depth chart, and this is where it's common for first-round wide receivers to slide in, but Tetairoa McMillan has already being hailed as the number one wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. The other receivers here, we have Adam Thielen, who is extremely old, and his production is going down with his age, as it does with NFL veterans, so he is losing more and more targets and yards every single season. Xavier Legette putting up about 550 yards as a rookie. These numbers show us that usually, more often than not, rookie wide receivers who put up a season with 500 yards and change and do not play every single game, those players are actually busts more often than not. The second reason why this is a perfect landing spot for Tetairoa McMillan is historically the Panthers and Bryce Young have been pushing wide receivers over their ADP with their production. First, we can look at Adam Thielen, who 2 years ago is still a very old player, but Bryce Young was able to turn him into wide receiver 25 on the season. In a year where Bryce Young struggled mightily, they fired the head coach because the offense wasn't good enough. And overall, it was just a really, really poor year for the Carolina Panthers. But Adam Thielen stayed relevant. In 2024, Adam Thielen got injured, didn't play the whole season, but still put up over about 11.5 points per game, which was impressive on an offense that was so good that their quarterback, Bryce Young, ended up getting benched halfway through the year. Another guy from the Panthers offense who is doing well in the Panthers offense but doesn't do well in other offenses is Diontae Johnson. Diontae Johnson was acquired via a trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers, played for the Panthers for a couple of games, and then moved on to a different team via another trade. This guy has been so good outside of the Panthers that he's still a free agent. No one even wants to sign him. But Bryce Young made him relevant and made him a good pick in fantasy football relative to his ADP. When he was playing, Diontae Johnson was putting up good yards in the Panthers offense, even though the Panthers offense is an offense that has not even seen their starting quarterback throw for 3,000 yards in a single season. There are not a lot of yards to go around, but Bryce Young has found ways to make whoever his number one wide receiver, he's going to make that player fantasy relevant. So my third point here is Tetairoa McMillan is a really good prospect. If we are going to go ahead and look at our boxes for rookie wide receivers, those boxes to make them, these are analytics that are predictive for measuring fantasy football future success. So you have to look at his draft capital. Did he declare as a junior or a senior? Did he dominate in college? Did he break out as a freshman or a sophomore? And did he run fast at the combine? And did he have any teammates drafted in his offense? So Tetairoa McMillan getting drafted 8th overall, very highly in the draft. That's what we're looking for. Declared early as a junior. That checks another box. Dominated. In college, he accounted for 44.4% of his offense, which is absolutely insane. If you look at his receiving yards this season, he put up over 1,300 yards while no one else in that offense did much of anything. He broke out early as a sophomore, which is exactly what we're looking for, and he ran fast enough. The 40 times a little bit, it's different from wherever you look, but adjusting for the hand times at his pro day where he ran, we believe his 40 time was a 4.58, which is still fast enough to be successful in fantasy football. Now, the thing we do have to take a look at is the fact that he was not drafted. He was not playing alongside NFL caliber teammates at Arizona. So the red flag there, or teammates drafted, that box and his dominator rating are intertwined. If you don't have any teammates being drafted into the NFL, that means you have to have a really high dominator to make up for it. And if you have a lower dominator, it could be made up for by having a lot of teammates drafted into the NFL. For example, Emeka Egbuka has a lower dominator rating, but that's okay because he's playing with JSN, he's playing with Marvin Harrison and Jeremiah Smith. So of course there are less yards to go around, where Tetairoa McMillan here has a really, really high dominator, but it's easier for him to dominate because there aren't other NFL caliber wide receivers demanding the football. We are okay with him not having teammates being drafted because he has a really, really high dominator to make up for it. Usually a successful dominator rating for a successful rookie wide receiver is 30 to 40. So if you're going to have no other receivers in your offense being drafted, you have to be over 40%, and that's exactly where Tetairoa McMillan is. Looking at these predictive analytics, I feel very safe saying that Tetairoa McMillan is a very good fantasy risk to take. Right before the NFL draft started, he was going off the board at wide receiver 28. I expect that to go higher now that he was taken in the top 10 of the NFL draft. He's being comped by many smart analysts to Drake London, and funny enough, Drake London was also taken 8th overall to be the alpha wide receiver in his offense. And now Tetairoa McMillan is going to try to follow in his footsteps. Drake London already has a wide receiver 1 season under his belt. And within the next 3 years, I see no reason why Tetairoa McMillan can't directly follow in his footsteps and be just as successful or even more successful. But if you stuck around to watch this video, thank you for watching the video. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new or if you learned anything, and have a great day.